All right, my initiation part 5, and I believe this should be the last part of my testimony to my initiation. All right, when I got to the David Lawrence Center, okay, um, I was placed in a room, uh, for a while, like a pre-room, like a place, where before they give you your room, where you're gonna be sleeping and staying. They put me in a pre-room. While I was there, I was reflecting, I was thinking, and um, at the time I just kept thinking that I was thinking about my dad, state of how he was when he had his Alzheimer's. What I felt about that situation was that I felt like when he was in that state, um, he was very, very, very deep in the earth. Okay, his soul went down all the way down to the depths of the bottom of the earth. Okay, that's what I was feeling. That's what I was made to believe at the time, was that his soul um, went to the very depths of the bottom of the earth and stuff like that. So um, I felt like when I was waiting, I felt like I need um, I need to go get him out of the prison, out of there, um, where he was at. Now, mind you, he had already passed away since 2018, and this was happening to me in 2021. Okay, but in 2018, when he passed away, I had already went down, went to, I had already did something to get him out of, out of, get his soul out of prison, right? But for some reason, when I was there, first thing that happened to me while I was in the waiting room was that it's almost as if I could see exactly where he was, where his soul was when he was in his Alzheimer's state, like where his soul was. Okay. Um, then after a while, they came in and took me to the back of the place. I mean, the back in the back room area where I was gonna end up being. So I remember I'm looking around. I saw the people that was sitting there. Remember. Now, mind you, it was already night because that's when the cop brought me over there. It was still nighttime. So I guess everybody was in their rooms already, but they had some people there that was just sitting there. They had two people that was sitting there because they're supposed to be watching the inmates, the people that was there, that were the clients, customers, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm looking at them to determine, to see what they're all about or whatever. I didn't really see nothing. But and then eventually they showed me where my room was gonna be. So they gave me my room, and that was that. Okay, now then I don't remember exactly what happened next. All I know is what began to happen to me. Okay, was at one point in time they took me to a room, right? they took me to a room and lay me down on the bed. They lay me down on the bed, but onto my belly. So I was on my belly in a bed, and there was a whole bunch of them workers that was there. Next thing I know, they held me down. It's not like I was fighting or anything like that, but the next thing I know, they held me down, and they gave me a shot right on my right butt. Okay, they gave me a shot on my right butt, right? Well, after they gave me the shot, then I started being, I guess, illusional or whatnot, right? What I remember next was that, I guess, yes, stuff started happening to me to where some of it I don't even quite remember, but when I came to, I remember what I remember, right? Okay, so I don't know if that knocked me out. I doubt that it did knock me out. I don't think it did not knock me out when they gave me the shot on my butt. But next thing I remember is that I began to see a man that was working at the same place with me, right? I don't know if it was a vision. I think it was a vision. It had to be a vision. There was a vision that I received where I saw a man that was working in the same place with me before this thing happened to me. You normally have a stench about him, right? But that's just the way it was, and I didn't make a big deal out of it or nothing like that. But it's just one of those things you always notice because it's always there, right? So he normally have a stench about him, but I remember having this vision where it's like they were showing me why why he was in my life, why somehow he was placed in my life for that brief moment at the workplace, at my workplace, right? And what I got from that, in the vision, I saw that he was one who used to abuse women, right? He was one who used to abuse women, and then the vision kind of went towards another female that worked with me, right? But she's a lesbian. And then what I got from it is that it didn't really show that he was the one specifically, but it shows that she is a lesbian because of the way men used to treat her in the past. It was kind of weird vision. It was a weird vision. Like basically, what happened there is that I was shown why people become lesbian. Why the reason for people becoming lesbian because of the way they were treated in a previous life. It is kind of like what I got from that. It was detailed, but I'm not gonna go into the details about that. But so that person, that female that was working with me as well, I came to understand it. And I remember saying, "Oh my God, this is the reason why she's a lesbian. She only likes women." Stuff like that. So I remember specifically saying that. Okay, now yeah, like it showed me some ugly stuff about how men used to reject her and abuse her and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense why in this lifetime she chose to be, not chose, but she automatically like women, because her soul, I guess, because her soul kind of don't want to go back to that type of lifestyle, so her soul automatically goes towards females. Anyway, so that was one part, is that I was shown, this first part is that I was shown why most females become lesbians, okay? And then second part is at one point in time, I mean, I guess the next day, I I got to see the inmates that was there, and what I noticed is that a few of them had the similitude of the some other people that I worked with as well, that was in the same job that I worked at, the Purse House, okay? Um, I noticed a few of them, but they don't look exactly like those persons, but they have the same similitude. Basically, what I got from it is that they were supposed to represent those individuals, like they were supposed to represent them um, in the story. Basically, it's kind of like the whole thing is like was a story that supposed to tell me something. Um, so I noticed that. I noticed one of them. I'm not gonna go into details as to the names of those people, but I noticed that. And then somebody came out that represented my father when he was young, um, like a young boy, like when he first came to America or something like that. As a young boy, he looked like him. He represented him as if my spirit was making me, basically was picturing, was putting a story together for me about what happened with my family or something like that. From the time my dad, the story had to begin again, basically. Like I had to restart the story. I had to go back in time, basically. It was kind of like going back in time to revisit the story to see what happened there. But yeah, there was a young boy that was representing my dad when he was young. And then I also saw a older lady there as well. She was kind of young, but you could tell she had some age to her. She was representing my grandmother, which was supposed to be my father's mother. Okay, but while we was there, I could tell that they didn't even know each other, and they was not even in each other's life. They had nothing to do with nothing. But all I know is that that's what she represented. That's what he represented. So basically, I saw my dad there as a young boy. That's just a representation. And then I saw my grandmother there, which was supposed to be his mother. They were all there in the story. They were just there and was supposed to be in the story, okay? And then I remember I was trying to, I went to the boy trying to talk and have a conversation with him, to trying to let him know that he is my dad. But it was not going well because first of all, he didn't even speak English. He was Spanish or something like that. But yeah, he dressed kind of the same way my dad would dress and everything. And then, but that was that about that. He was always like, basically he was acting like somebody, the way my dad would act as well. Like, don't want nobody to touch him, don't want nobody to even come close to him or anything like that. So, and then I remember the grandma, the one that I thought was my grandma, as I was I remember going to give her a hug or something like that, and I said that's my grandma. I remember saying it to everybody. I was like, that's my grandma. Anyway, that was all about that. Then after, let me see, after a while, let me see what else happened. Okay, now about this story about the David Lawrence Center, I'm just gonna tell you the main parts, okay? Because to go into details is not about the little things, or not, is not important anymore. Let me go into let me just tell you the important parts that happened to me at the place. Let me see. There was one part where, let me see what happened. There's a few things. There's a few things that I have to get those out. I have to mention it. Okay, one part is I felt like I had to release Solomon out of, no, I felt like the place was a matrix, right? And I felt like Solomon was in hydrogen in the place of hydrogen. No. Solomon was somewhere else, like in the place of 118, what was Organison, okay? And I felt like I need to get him from Organison, which is the last place in the periodic table, right? And I kept feeling like, and I even said it, I said I need to get him into hydrogen, which is the first place in the periodic table. So basically, somehow, some way, I had to get him from the bottom and bring him all the way to the top and put him in the first place, because hydrogen is the place of is the first place in the periodic table. So somehow, some way, that's what I was like. That was the thing. I had to I said I had to get King Solomon, into the place of hydrogen. And you will understand the significance of that later in a different testimony about my life story, okay? But right now, you're not going to understand at all what this is all about, okay? But I have to mention it right here because of what you will discover about me later on, okay? Now, so there was some stuff that I did. I looked in the board and I saw the name Noah that brought a bell to my attention concerning the Bible. I saw my name, of course, and then there was some other names that was important concerning the Bible that I saw as well on the board. And then I remember I was reading out loud the names that were on the board. And when I started doing that, the agents, I guess I'll call them agents, the workers that was working there, they was getting mad. They was saying, you need to stop, Annalie, you need to stop. You're not supposed to be telling them our codes and stuff like that. But okay, what I need to mention is that there was a glass door with some workers on the inside, and that's where the board was, right? And outside of the glass door was the living room, the area where all the inmates and the other workers were at. What I kind of came to understand about that was that it's almost like on the inside of me was, okay, a separation of power, of a separation of spirits. Like you have the good spirits that was on one side, and then the bad spirits on the other side. Okay, and then with me calling out the name that was on the board and the rooms that they was in, it's the same. It's as if what I was doing was telling the spirits. I was doing something in the spirit to where I was giving out information about the bad spirits, about the rooms, where certain individuals was, so that anyway, it was kind of like a battle situation where I was giving out information that I was not supposed to give out. Okay, they was like, Annalie, don't do that. So when they start doing that, a man that was behind the glass, so this was supposed to be like as if it was like the good spirits, right? A man that was behind the glass, he came out, but he came out as if to restrain me, to come and put a restraint on me because I was doing something illegal by calling out the names in their rooms. But really, it was not that. But my spirit was letting me know that it was a good thing I was doing, in order to help me bring Solomon to hydrogen 1 the way it's supposed to be, okay? To a room where he's supposed to be. So when the man came out of that room, behind the glass door, he came to me. He put on the mask, because around that time the COVID thing was going on, right? So he put on the mask, and then he came to me. When he came to me, he took me, and I remember I was led to close my eyes, right? And when I closed my eyes, I was seeing that it's as if we was in the spirit, and we was going really, really fast. He was taking me somewhere, right? But it seemed as if he was taking me from where I was into a new place, like a new place. But I felt like we was going by night. Basically, we was traveling by night, and he was taking me to a new place, and it was like we was going very, very fast, and it seemed as if it was like a scene from Black Panther. But I know Black Panther didn't even have a scene like that, but it was something. It had to do something with Black Panther, because I remember it was something like when she said, when the girl told the Black Panther that she would be a good queen because she's stubborn or whatever. But either way, I don't know why what that got to do with Black Panther. But it seemed to me like I think the guy represented a Black Panther that was taking me in the spirit world to where I was supposed to be. But I didn't really go anywhere. But in the spirit, I was moving to go somewhere, right, from one place to another. But we was moving very, very fast at the speed of light, or even faster than that. I remember I was saying we need to go at the speed of light, and then I remember saying no, the speed of light is not fast enough, and then I said we need to go at the speed of infinity, right? Infinity. And then we was moving even faster, right? And then what's weird about it is that after I kept saying we need to move at the speed of infinity, it started to be like as if what I was doing is building a security system to where Because what happened is I saw that the enemy was chasing after me as well, and they was trying to catch me. They was trying to catch me, and so everywhere I go, they wouldn't. Even though they was behind me, they was far behind me, but they was coming to where they always knew where I was. They always, which means eventually they would catch up to me. So because I didn't want them to ever catch up to me, so when I said at the speed of infinity, so basically what I saw that I did was that I sent my security, I sent whatever it is that I was doing into infinity. But then it got to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I can't trace it anymore. I will not be able to trace it anymore. And then it's kind of like I felt my spirit saying, that's the point. That's the whole point of it. You should not be able to trace it, because then your enemy will not be able to trace you either. Like they will not be able to trace you. They will, like, basically the thing will just keep going and going nonstop. It will never ever stop, and which is exactly what I needed, and which is exactly what I did. Is sent this security thing into infinity, and it was kind of hard for me to like let it go like that without being able to trace it, but that's the whole point, and it was good. Like way later, I felt like it was the decision. It was a good decision to send it into infinity, so that nobody would be able to catch it or be able to find it and manipulate it. Okay, so when I came to, the whole time I was in the spirit, right, kind of like building a security system, right. When I came to, I was like giving orders to the workers that was there. I was telling them, no, they was coming to test me to see if I would give out the security code. Like I had to, basically, when I was doing what I was doing, I was also creating a security code that's not traceable, as well. So when I came to, they was questioning me to see if I would give out the security code, and then I was like, no, I don't know it. I can't do that. So then they saw that I was being loyal and not, that I was not going to give out the security code to what I just created. And so then I remember giving them orders to become faster or something. Anyway, but that was one important part. Another important part that happened to me was somehow, some way, I remember I must have blacked out, right? Next thing I know, I was crying. When I came to, I remember crying, really crying. I was crying a lot. I was crying and crying about my friend that was working at the same place with me, that's a lesbian. I was crying about her, and then I was saying her name, and I said, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. I'm sorry for your life has been like this, and this and that. I was really crying until I stopped, right? After I stopped crying, after a few minutes or so, I remember like the spirits were leading me to do something, and they made me look at the glass window, which had some paint, some some images that were not painted, colored, that a whole bunch of people in there had colored and stuff like that. There was butterflies and this and that. And then I remember seeing the image, which made me think, had this thought. I had this thought. It says, what is it? From, like, how did saying go? From a moth to a flame or something like that. I can't remember how I said it. From a moth to a flame, I think is what I said, because of the image that I was looking at. But they led me to look at a few things on the glass, where I remember making this second declaration, okay? And just in my initiation, I made this second declaration where I said, I'm the doctor that created the pure gold for 2020, for census 25. That was my that was another declaration that I end up making there. I said, I'm the doctor that created the pure gold for census 25. And later on in my life, you will come to understand why I made that declaration. Okay? Wait till you see the rest of my testimonies and who I truly am. When you learn who I truly am, you will understand why this declaration was made. Okay, so that was the other important part of this story, and this is actually the last part. Oh, I gotta finish this video by I gotta mention this last part to this video. Eventually, when I left the David Lawrence Center, right? Pay attention to the name. That's going to be important too, okay? The David Lawrence, David Law, the Law of David. But anyway, David Lawrence Center, after I left the place and came home, right? I was there for like 6 days, okay? When I came home, this and that, whatever. The other important part I must say about it is that I went to my daughter's room to take a nap, right? Okay? I went to my daughter's room to take a nap, and I had a dream. My dream was that I saw me laying in her room, in her bed, and next thing I know, while I was laying in there, I saw the door open and Satan came through. Satan came through the door to, trying to come in to an attempt to fight me, right? So as soon as he came through the door, but while he was at the door, I didn't even allow him to come in all the way. What happened is that I remember that while I was laying at the bed, I was swinging at him. I was swinging in the air like this. But what was going on is that when I was swinging in the air like that, slapping basically, I was slapping him from the bed, but it was hitting him while he was standing at the door. And you could tell he was in anguish. He was like hurt. He was hurt. He couldn't do anything. He was just hurt. Basically, I just kept slapping him and slapping him and slapping him. But weird thing about it is that next thing I know, my husband came to wake me up to get him out of all the pain he was feeling. Okay, so my husband came and woke me up which he had no business doing, and he wouldn't. And what I kind of feel about this situation is that he wouldn't come and wake me up if I was not having that dream. He would let me sleep, right? But I felt like the evil spirits or Satan couldn't take any more of the blows he was receiving, to the point where he caused my husband to go in that room to wake me up. So when he woke me up, then of course that ended. But I just had to mention this part where I saw that I was slapping him really badly, to where he was hurt. I could tell that it was bad for him. It was not a good thing at all for him. But while that was going on, I was awakened from my sleep, and then I remember that even through the night, I started having anxiety, fear of the dark. That from that night, I had the fear of the dark for some reason. I didn't want to go to sleep in the dark, and I didn't want to sleep alone, and I felt like I needed my husband to be there, to be in the room, in the bed with me. So from that time, I slept in my bed again with my husband next to me, with the TV on and stuff like that, and that's how I was able to sleep again. But yeah, that was the end of. This is the end of my testimonies. I'm sorry for going into details about some of the stuff that was not really important. But I'm the type, I guess, when I'm telling a story, I want to tell every detail that happened within the story. Because I think every details are important. Because you never know. It's good to have the details. But yeah, so that was what happened there. I made 2 declarations from my initiation. The very first being when I declared freedom to all mankind. And then the second declaration was that I said, I'm the doctor that created the pure gold for Census 25. And based on some of the testimonies I will be mentioning, you will come to understand why I said that, and what significance that has with who I am and who I was in the previous life. This is it for my testimony concerning my initiation, and then the next videos will be about something else, some other experiences that I had, and we'll talk about it. All right, peace be to you. God bless you. I love you. Goodbye.